Genesis chapter 31. And Jacob heard the words of the sons of Laban, saying, Jacob has taken all that was our father's, and of our fathers he has gotten all this glory. And Jacob saw the countenance of Laban, and behold, it was not toward him as before. And the Lord said to Jacob, Return to the land of thy father, and to thy kindred, and I will be with thee. And Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah into the plain where his flocks were. And he said to them, I see the countenance of your father, that it is not toward me as before, but the God of my father was with me. And ye yourselves know that with all my strength I have served your father. And your father deceived me, and changed my wages 10 times. But God suffered him not to hurt me. If he said thus, The speckled shall be thy wages, then all the cattle bore speckled. And if he said thus, The white shall be thy wages, then all the cattle bore white. And God has taken away all the cattle of your father, and given them to me. And it came to pass at the time when the cattle conceived, that I saw in my sleep, and behold, the he-goats and the rams mounting the sheep, and the goats were streaked and speckled and spotted with ash-colored spots. And the angel of God said to me in sleep, Jacob. And I said, What is it? And he said, Lift up thine eyes, and see the rams and the he-goats mounting the sheep and the goats, streaked and speckled, and spotted with ash-colored spots. For I have seen all that Laban does to thee. I am the God that appeared to thee in the place of God, where thou anointedst for me a pillar, and vowedst a vow to me. Now therefore arise and go out of this land, and depart into the land of thy birth, and I will be with thee. And Rachel and Leah answered and said to him, Is there yet any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? Are we not reckoned by him as strangers? For he has sold us, and quite devoured our money. All the wealth and the glory which God has taken from our father, it shall be ours and our children's. Now then, whatsoever God has said to thee, do. And Jacob rose up, and took his wives and his children upon camels. And he carried away all his possessions, and all his store which he had gotten, and all that he had gained in Mesopotamia, to go to Isaac his father into the land of Canaan. And Laban went to shear his sheep, and Rachel stole the idols of her father. And Jacob hid himself from Laban the Syrian, so as not to tell him that he fled. And he fled, he and all that he had, and he arose and crossed the river, and set his face toward Mount Galaad. And it was reported to Laban the Syrian on the 3rd day that Jacob had fled. And he took with him all his brethren, and pursued after him 7 days' journey, and overtook him in Mount Galaad. And God came to Laban the Syrian in a dream by night, and said to him, Take heed to thyself, that thou speak not to Jacob evil words. And Laban overtook Jacob, and Jacob had pitched his tent in the mountain, and Laban stood in the mount of Galaad. And Laban said to Jacob, What is this that thou hast done? Wherefore hast thou stolen away secretly, and carried off my daughters as captives taken with the sword? Why didst thou flee secretly, and steal away from me, and didst not tell me? And I would have sent thee away with mirth, and with music, with timbrel and harp. And thou hast not suffered me to kiss my sons and my daughters. Now thou hast done foolishly. And now my hand is able to hurt thee. But the God of thy father spoke to me yesterday, saying, Take heed to thyself, that thou speak not to Jacob evil words. And now thou hast gone, because thou didst earnestly desire to go to thy father's house. Wherefore hast thou stolen my gods? And Jacob answered and said to Laban, Because I was afraid, for I said, lest at any time thou shouldest take away thy daughters from me. With whomsoever thou shalt find thy gods, let him not live, before our brethren take knowledge of what I have with thee, and take it. And Jacob knew not that Rachel his wife had stolen them. And Laban went in and searched the dwelling of Leah, and found them not. And he went out of the dwelling of Leah, and searched the dwelling of Jacob, and in the dwelling of the two maidservants, and found them not. And Rachel had taken the idols, and cast them among the camel's furniture, and sat upon them. And Laban searched all the house, and found them not. And she said to her father, Let it not be grievous to my lord, that I cannot rise up before thee, for it is with me according to the custom of women. And he searched, and found not the idols. And Jacob was angry, and contended with Laban. And Jacob answered, and said to Laban, What is my fault, and what is my sin, that thou hast pursued after me, and that thou hast searched all my furniture? What hast thou found of all the furniture of thy house? Set it here before my brethren and thy brethren, and let them judge. These 20 years I have been with thee. Thy sheep and thy goats have not failed, and I have not eaten of the rams of thy flock. That which was taken of beasts I brought not to thee. I made good of myself. Thou didst require it of my hand, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Thus I was, in the day the heat consumed me, and the frost by night, and sleep departed from mine eyes. These 20 years I have been in thy house. I served thee 14 years for thy 2 daughters, and 6 years for thy sheep, and thou hast changed my wages 10 times. Except the God of my father Abraham and the fear of Isaac had been with me, now thou wouldest have sent me away empty. But God saw my affliction and the labor of my hands, and reproved thee yesterday. And Laban answered and said to Jacob, The daughters are my daughters, and the sons are my sons, and the cattle are my cattle, and all things that thou seest are mine. And what shall I do to these my daughters today, or to their children whom they have borne? Now then come, let us make a covenant, I and thou, and it shall be for a witness between me and thee. And Jacob took a stone and set it up for a pillar. And Jacob said to his brethren, Gather stones. And they gathered stones, and made a heap, and they ate there upon the heap. And Laban called it the heap of witness, but Jacob called it the heap of testimony. And Laban said, This heap is a witness between me and thee today. Therefore its name was called Caled, and the watchtower, for he said, The Lord watch between me and thee, because we are about to depart each one from his brother. If thou shalt afflict my daughters, and if thou shalt take wives besides my daughters, see, God is witness between me and thee. And Laban said to Jacob, Behold this heap, and behold the pillar, which I have set between me and thee. This heap is a witness, and this pillar is a witness, that I will not pass over this heap to thee, and that thou shalt not pass over this heap, and this pillar to me, for evil. The God of Abraham and the God of Nahor judge between us. And Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac. And Jacob offered a sacrifice in the mountain, and called his brethren. And they ate bread, and slept in the mountain. And Laban rose up in the morning, and kissed his sons and his daughters, and blessed them. And Laban departed, and returned to his place. That concludes this chapter. Please click Next to continue.